She said, "I'm not your maid." So I agreed. She looked at me and said, "I'm not a maid. Clean it yourself." For a second, I just stood there. Then I smiled. You're right. I'd been living with my girlfriend Madison for 8 months. At first, everything was great. We split the rent, 50-50, but after a few weeks, she slowly stopped helping around the apartment. By the 3rd month, I was doing everything: cooking, cleaning, laundry, grocery shopping, all while working more than 50 hours a week. Madison only worked part-time. Every time I asked for help, she always had an excuse. "I'm tired. I worked today. Can't you just do it?" Then one Friday, I came home after a long day, and the apartment looked like a disaster. Pizza boxes, empty wine bottles, makeup all over the table. She had invited her friends over and left everything for me to clean. I finally said, "Madison, I'm tired of being the only one cleaning." She rolled her eyes and replied, "I'm not a maid, Ethan. If it bothers you, clean it yourself." Then she went back to bed. That was the moment. Everything changed. She was right. She wasn't a maid, and neither was I. The next week, I acted like the perfect boyfriend. I cleaned everything, never complained. She thought she had won. Then she told me she was spending the weekend at her sister's house. The second she left, I called my best friend Logan. He had been looking for a place to live. Since Madison wasn't on the lease, I rented him the spare bedroom. We packed all of her things into boxes and moved Logan into the room. By the time she came home, the bedroom had a new lock and a new roommate. She walked in, looked around, and completely lost it. "What happened to my room?" I calmly replied, "That's Logan's room now." She stared at me in shock. "You can't do this. I live here." I shrugged. "You still can. The couch pulls out. Your rent stays the same." She cried. She yelled. She even complained about me online. But somehow, she still refused to clean. Meanwhile, Logan and I shared the chores. The apartment had never been cleaner. A few days later, she said, "I'm not paying rent if I don't have my own room." I nodded. "That's fine. You have 30 days to move out." Then came the funniest part. Logan loved early morning workouts. Every morning at 6 o'clock, he blasted heavy death metal music in the living room, right where Madison was sleeping. She begged me to make him stop. I simply said, "I can't tell another tenant how to use the common areas." 20 days later, she gave up. She called her dad. He arrived with a U-Haul truck. As he loaded the last box, he looked at me and quietly said, "I'm sorry about my daughter. I hope this teaches her something." As Madison was leaving, she looked back and shouted, "You'll never find someone better than me." I smiled, watched the truck drive away, and answered, "I already did."